Hello, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy
It's
New Year.
holidays are over. Time to put your real clothes back on. It's okay.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of those sweatpants and act like an adult. If you're planning a wedding, and probably a lot of you are, because I'm hoping many of you got engaged in, around, near the holiday season, this is we're going to become your favorite podcast. I am Celia Milton. I'm your North Jersey professional wedding officiant, and I'm here with Andrea Pertel, the South Shore, middle, maybe not South, but Shore and Middle New Jersey wedding officiant and celebrant. So
Yeah.
you are covered anywhere you want to go. Almost. We're going to cover you. So it's January, and you know what that means. It's time for everybody to talk about trends.
Yes. So
You
we got
know,
to jump on that
yeah,
bandwagon.
we got and there's, I think you're going to find some creeping in here that are trends that we might like to see. And I did a little bit of like diving into some of my friends and venues, what they're, predicting that they're going to be doing,
Right.
which, you're going to encounter along the way. I've got some great food ideas too. So,
Right. Some of these are trends that started, in 2025 and that are still coming back in
mhm.
2026, and some are new to 2026. And yeah, so what's the number one
So
trend we love
over
right now?
overwhelming trend is micro weddings and more intimate celebrations.
Yep.
Now, I would like to just point out, as you well know, Andrea, that 4 years ago we were talking about micro weddings,
Yep.
and we're seeing more and more people inviting less and less guests, and a kind of like a little, along with that, maybe very small bridal parties, wedding parties,
Yes.
and it's just it's a great it's so smart, isn't it?
It is so smart. And I think even a party with 50 people is a lot of people. And
I
so,
know.
but yet they're calling that intimate, and that's beautiful. And people say the micro weddings allow them to have real connection with
Yep.
every guest. They
Yep.
get to spend intentionally, even if you're
Yeah.
not doing it because of your budget, even if it's just because you want a more intimate ceremony.
Mhm.
That you get to do things more intentional,
Yep.
and create maybe a more luxury experience, choosing quality over quantity, all the
Mhm.
obvious.
Yeah, and there's things that you could, you might want to add, maybe, different food stations, or, different decor that, when you start multiplying it by 200 people, it's a lot different than multiplying it by 30.
Yeah.
And, and how many times do people tell us in different contexts, like, well, we're not really a fan of being the center of attention. We don't really love having our pictures taken. And we are socially anxious. It's like, those are all like absolutely fine reasons for having a smaller wedding party, you
Right.
know?
Right.
What
I love the decor, the tables of a more intimate ceremony, of a micro
Mhm.
wedding. It just, I don't know, it just looks like a beautiful party to me.
Beautiful dinner
And we
party.
are
Yeah,
seeing venues have finally started catching up with this
that's
trend.
right.
Many of the big popular venues have added a small intimate room and are specifically doing micro weddings. So if you have a venue that you really love, but you think they don't do it, call them,
Call them.
because a
Call them.
lot of them are in the works of changing that.
Yeah, it's true. And there's places that maybe never had the room to have 100 people at a wedding, but 30, 40, 50. Yeah. So it gives you a wide variety of places that you may have never thought of before.
Yeah, yeah.
Little
So
greenhouses and museums and galleries and all kinds of great stuff.
yeah,
It's
very
just like
cool.
fun. Yeah, it may
Very
not cut
cool.
down your choices. It may be harder to make a choice, but you have more things to look at and consider. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think it's great. It's just, it's going to be less expensive just by nature, but that is not always why people choose to go this route. Sometimes it's just, I don't really know 100. I've had plenty of people tell me that, our minimum at venue A was 150 people. We don't know 150 people that we actually want to invite. It's like, I'm right there with you. I need 12 other seats besides me and what's his name.
The,
That's like
yeah,
it.
the inviting people because you are feel obligated,
No, no.
because a parent or whatever wants it. It's your wedding, and I think couples are taking back their wedding,
Yeah, I
and
do
when they
too.
they make their guest list, they suddenly realize, wait, this is a micro wedding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our guest list of the people we truly want there
Right.
are 50 people.
Yeah.
And wow,
Yeah.
they might have not even set out to be a micro wedding.
Yeah. It's
So,
true. It's true.
so yeah, they're taking back that control
Yeah.
of it. And I think probably because a lot are getting married at an older age than they did a
Hmm.
generation ago. So they have their own say in it, that
Yeah.
type of thing.
Well,
You
and you
know,
have a different kind of social group too. Once
uh-huh.
you get, a little bit older, you may have had wonderful friends in college, and some of them you're still wonderful friends with. But, some of those people, the people from your first job, if you start inviting people, if you think of them in like rings, it's like you, and then you go to the next ring, and it's like your immediate family and their significant others, and then after that, maybe there's your really close friend. By the time you get to like the neighbor that was your mom's friend 20 years ago, maybe that doesn't really have to happen.
Right.
And it's there's two good things about a small guest list right off the bat. If you have a truly small guest list, you don't have to explain to your fifth cousin twice removed that you're not inviting her,
Right.
because you're just keeping if it's 30 people, it's pretty easy for other people to understand why they're not invited if they're on the peripheral of that circle.
Right.
If you have 100 people, those 20 people after the 100, it's a little bit harder to figure out. The other thing is that it costs a significant amount of money to go to a wedding as a guest or in the wedding party.
Hmm.
And not everybody is going to not everybody's going to open the envelope and say, "This is great. We can't wait to go." Some of them are going to open the envelope and just kind of stare at it because they don't know if they really want to go. It's not any kind of judgment on you. It's just that I think the New York Times ran an article about this last year, the year before. It can cost hundreds of dollars, not even with the bridal party. That's a whole podcast by itself.
Right.
But when you start adding up clothes and travel and maybe lodging and maybe a dog sitter or a babysitter and maybe unpaid time off, we are talking about hundreds of dollars, unless everybody lives in your hometown and they're going to drive there from home and go back home afterwards. There's usually some kind of travel for a lot of those people.
Absolutely,
Lots of
absolutely.
things.
And then, you mentioned something that brings us to the other trend that was in 2025 and is continuing into 2026. Even if you are, say, you both come from big families
Mhm.
and you are going to have everybody that, you have five brothers, you have, four sisters, da da da, and you're going to have everybody and there. So you're having a wedding, even if it is 100 people, 150 people. Couples are choosing for smaller bridal parties.
Oh, absolutely.
Even for the big weddings, the smaller bridal
Yeah.
parties are in. First of all, you could easily, you hear plenty of people say, I got married 10 years ago. I had 8 bridesmaids. I only keep in touch with 2 of them now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're stretching it. You don't need to have that many in your
No.
wedding party. Just a couple is fine. Sometimes you're seeing just a best man and maid of honor. But if you have family and you're going to include your sisters and your brothers or whatever and your best friend, that's okay. But people are going for smaller. It's
Less
there
drama.
was a
Yeah.
quote that said it's not about matching dresses anymore. It's about who
Mhm.
actually walked this journey with you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's special. It's not just picking out a bunch of people. It's picking out those few special people to be up there with you.
Yeah.
Less stress.
Yep.
Um, Meaning you don't have to coordinate as much. It's
Right.
more budget friendly too, and whether you have a big budget or not, that's a relief. Like
Yeah.
you know
There's
um
flowers, there's gifts. There's probably the more people you have, the more, even if you don't want a
you pay for
rehearsal,
each of them. Yeah.
it's a lot. A lot of people still will do rehearsals if they have a lot of people in their wedding party. It's just it's like almost like another little wedding to plan on top of the wedding that you're actually planning. And,
And
just,
again, you're right. It's like the little wedding within the wedding. And I think that it's again just like a micro. It's a bit of a relief to the couple that they don't have to
oh,
include
yeah.
everyone,
Oh,
that you
yeah.
don't have to include every single person, and make them part of your bridal party.
Or
Because you
part
get to like, well, if I'm inviting Lisa, then I have to invite June, then I have to invite da da da, and I
of
have to. No.
And then you have to give them a hierarchy. It's like,
Yeah.
who's the most important one to stand next to you? It's like, who's next? Who's next?
Ah,
There's like
it's
diplomacy
tough.
involved here. There really is. But
Yeah, that's
yeah.
funny, the hierarchy. So that is something, the smaller bridal parties, and that's it. Less stress, nobody's offended. Just like you said with the micro.
And
Um,
maybe they're not standing up there. That's another, along with that, I'm seeing a lot of people who are not
Absolutely.
having their bridal party stand with them.
No, they sit in the front
Sit
row
down.
or the
Yep.
second row after the family, and
Yep.
that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the altar or ceremony area is nice and clean. The
Hmm.
decor, the couple, the officiant.
Yeah. It's
Um,
true. It's, you know, what I find too, like a kind of like trend that maybe will come up later on. I was seeing in the fall a lot of floral, like fall floral velvets and like, but dresses and prints. And the first time I saw all these girls in these fabulous print dresses, they were all different prints and they all sat down. And I thought, you know, I'm really glad they're not standing up because it was like, holy moly, there is like a lot going on up there. And, you know, it just visually, it's visually confusing when we're talking about having a couple that we're supposed to be focusing on, you know,
exactly. Don't take
and
the
little kids.
focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little kids should be seated all the
Yes,
time.
absolutely. You don't want to take the focus off the couple.
Right.
But the other thing is the keeping the party flowing.
Mhm.
Couples are thinking of like seamless transitions, keeping every fewer interruptions, and that talks about, which we've mentioned a couple of times. I won't go into depth with it, is the private cake cutting. It used to be where everybody's out on the dance floor dancing, having a good time, and then it would stop it. The poor DJ has to stop it and tell everybody to look at the couple over there as they cut their cake. That is done. Very rarely does that happen anymore. It is the
Yeah.
private cake
Yeah.
cutting. The couple will go over to the side with either their parents or just the two of them and the photographer, and they get some. So the party's still going. You
Yeah.
you haven't told everybody to stop, because getting those people on the dance floor and having a good time, why would you stop that? But they also then get beautiful, intimate photos, and the party never stops. It's the perfect example of this moment is for us, not a performance.
Yeah. Well, you
Great
know,
for
I
the
think
photographer too.
who did we talk to? We talked to a DJ, and I'm sorry, I can't remember which one. Along that same, you know, you've got everybody at cocktail hour. They're all like schmoozing and catching up, and they're having a great old time. Let's bring them into the room, make everybody sit down, listen to four speeches, have a first dance that nobody watches, and then the first course. So now you have taken all that fun that they had at cocktail hour and just stopped it until
Yeah.
sometime later after the salad or after the entree that they're going to get up and dance again. Who was it? Do you remember that talked about the instant dance party? Because I loved that
Was that
idea.
Adam? Was that Adam?
I
I don't
think it,
know.
I don't know.
Don't
I
miss a
worked,
beat? Or no, no, maybe it was Dio. We'll have to look that up
I'll have
and
to look it
see.
up, but I love that. I was at a wedding years ago, years ago, like in the 20s. I was at a wedding with 45 Riots. We're going to have them on in the spring. They're a fabulous band. I just love them. But I had never seen this done before. They did not introduce, and here's your maid of honor and your best man. They
That's
just,
out.
everybody thundered into the room. The whole wedding party got it. You know, I think it was like a little bit more, I don't know, it was a little more classy than like, oh, here come two people. They're going to pretend to slap each other and then, oh, we're
Yeah.
falling down. You know, that kind of junk.
That trend is over with
That trend
now.
is like,
Yeah.
that was over before it even started. But they
Yeah.
all just ran into the room. They all started to dance and they invited everybody up. And that was like a great way to start that party.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then you can have the speeches, you sprinkle them around, you maybe do a speech about, you know, between each course, or, you know, you don't have to get rid of everything, but
No.
just to like this idea that, you know, once we talk about this all the time about having three sections to three parties, you have your ceremony party, which is different than your cocktail hour party, which is different than your reception party. And if you have that thread of like fun going through the whole thing, it's just, it just
Yeah.
seems more modern to me. I don't know.
Right. In fact, it's they're talking earlier dancing, fewer
Mhm.
interruptions, seamless transitions, and this creates energy,
Yep.
momentum, and joy, not constant stop and start moments.
Yeah.
So couples are rethinking that, and I like that they're taking the reins. They're not looking to, they're saying we want this, not how is this done. This is what we want
This is
done.
what we want.
Not yeah. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Then
I
they're
think,
talking about with photography, more document style photography.
yeah, that
And
was big there for a while, and then it kind of went away. And the word photojournalism became that word that everybody used, whether they were still doing the same stuff or not. And I think for me, like photography for me is like, well, after us, of course, it's the most important thing in the wedding. And,
yeah.
because it's the only thing you're going to leave with is your photos and maybe 3 crock pots and some checks and your license. That is it.
Yeah, this
So, yeah,
editorial or
yeah,
documentary style
the
photography
editorial. Yep.
blended with real emotion,
Mm, yeah,
that's one of them. And then they talk about, and we've seen this, the elevated guest experience. How do we want our guests to feel? There's a lot of interactive food stations, which we talk
we
about,
love that. I
some
love
lounge
that.
spaces, multi-moment celebrations, welcome parties, farewell brunches, excuse me. Although you don't need to always have those with the budget, but they're talking. I think interactive food stations were really on the rise, quite
Yeah,
frankly. They
yeah,
have the people walking around that do the cannolis. They have the thing almost like the old cigarette girl, with
yeah,
the tray,
yeah.
over their neck, and they walk around. Do you want a cannoli? And they fill it right there. They do that with other things, with food. And I think those things are a lot of fun, and people are choosing that.
Yeah, I was looking at, I'm going to give them a little plug. I looked at Rock Island Lake Club put out their new, they do a big, beautiful brochure every before the season, and some of the stations I think they're really kind of known for their stations. They're very inventive and beautifully presented, and the one that I always remember is they have a football station that they do. I don't know when they start, probably the fall and into the winter. Nobody in their right mind would ever have a wedding on Super Bowl Sunday. That would really be stupid. But you can't fight that. You just have to find another date. But they have a football food station that is hilarious. It can be tailored to the city, like if Philadelphia cheesesteaks, something from New York. There's all kinds of regional foods that can be, you know, built around the teams that the couple likes. But they had a they had a chocolate fountain. I was across the room. They had a chocolate fountain. And when I got there, I realized it was not full of chocolate. It was full of Frank's hot sauce because they had chicken wings. And it was like, this is the
What fun.
coolest thing ever.
What fun. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
So
cool.
and
Yeah,
that's
they're,
again going to the personalization of their wedding, and what
yeah,
what
yeah,
they found fun and stuff. So,
yeah.
all right, so moving on, they're talking about colors. Neutrals aren't gone, but in 2026, they predict we are going to see bold colors, rich textures, and layered designs, not just in clothing. We're talking about linens, we're talking about all of those things.
Flowers. And
And
I want to take a little detour here and just publicly state my complete and total, like, my total like disregard of the Pantone color of the year, which is white. Okay.
oh,
Okay. That is
yeah,
not white is not a color. White,
yeah.
and it's not like a revelation. It's like, I think I'm going to have a white wedding. That is wild. No, just don't go there. Go for flowers. Go for everything that's like bright and pretty, or pastel and pretty, or muted, or gold. But don't do all white. Just
Right.
because if you like white, go with white, but don't do it because it's a trend. It's like weird.
Right, exactly. We're also seeing statement florals, dramatic lighting. I think every DJ we speak to now offers
Yeah,
dramatic lighting, and people like that. It
yeah,
really adds to the vibe.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the word of the year here, vibe, textures and linens, fabric and decor. And of course, we talk about personalization, and it says radical personalization. 2026 weddings are all about deep personalization, which will show up in your how many guests you have, and in your lighting, and like your food stations. That is a very personalized food station that's fun, makes people laugh. But it starts with personalized ceremonies,
That's right.
custom rituals, and meaning storytellers. Couples saying they want guests to walk away saying that wedding ceremony felt exactly like them. And as an officiant, I love this because
Yeah.
ceremonies have always been, but now people are going back to it. They're becoming again the emotional anchor of the day. When you start your day with that beautiful ceremony done by a professional, that I mean, that's it. That's perfect.
Yeah. It's
You know.
funny because I'm binge watching Four Weddings. There's
Uh-huh.
only about 37 seasons of it. I'm about halfway through. And it's for those of you unfamiliar with this peculiar ritual of four weddings, it's four couples have four weddings and all four brides go to all four weddings and then they rate them. It's really kind of like
It's
if you
fun, yeah.
think about it. But it's like, well, let's I didn't like her dress. It's kind of, it veers into the dark side occasionally, but it's really kind of fun.
As
And there's
reality
yeah.
TV does.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely reality TV at its most. I don't know. I was gonna say worst, best. I can't even decide. But there's some really fun ideas that are like in the wild. It's not like styled shoots or anything like that. It's like these people did this thing for their wedding and this is how it went over. But what's interesting is the ceremonies. They people talk about the ceremonies when they're doing their wrap up. Each bride is doing the wrap up at the end. And a lot of them mention that they really loved the personalized ceremonies. Now, this is a long time, and this is like I think I'm watching 2016 now. This is a long time ago, and even then, when it wasn't a trend per se, people were loving the ceremonies that really sounded like the couple.
Yeah.
And for those of you who think that your cousin Fred is going to have a personalized ceremony for you because he's known you since you were both 5, that is not necessarily what's going to happen because your cousin Fred probably has no idea how to write a personalized ceremony and he won't send you a 5-page questionnaire that really brings to the surface what you really want to have in there.
Now,
You think
friends
that's
and
fair?
family
I
tend
think
to
it's fair.
talk about their relationship with the
Right,
couple. I
exactly.
remember, and it becomes then about the person doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. So people are going back to the professionals to give them that
Yeah,
personalized, the beginning of the day, making it
yeah.
so important.
Such a great way to start out too, because I think in a lot of cases, people they're coming to your wedding, they love you, they can't wait to see you get married. The only thing that they may not love about your wedding is that they think they're going to have to sit through something awful before they get a glass of wine. And in a lot of cases, it's true. Not necessarily. I mean, I understand the value of really traditional religious ceremonies for some couples and
Absolutely.
families. It really is a ritual element that's very meaningful to them. That's fine. It's great. But, for the rest of us, the people that's not necessarily part of their daily life, your ceremony should reflect the way that you live every day. Wow, you know what? There's so much to talk about, and I think one of the fun things about trends is that we see what really kind of is meaningful for people as we talk to
Yes.
them and see what they've adopted and what they've
Uh-huh.
just said, like, I'm not doing that. But I think what they all have in common is maybe an intentionality beyond I need a DJ or I need linen, and a personal connection between the couple understanding that this is their way to express themselves to their group of people. And some of their group of people, they're in their hearts, but you don't talk to them every day. So it's a great way to kind of bring everybody up to speed,
Right.
and the experiences that they're going to have during that. When they leave your wedding, one of our other DJs, like, I want them to be in the car cursing at me because their feet hurt so much.
Right.
That's like, it's the best things.
Exactly.
The best weddings I feel are, maybe you agree with me. It's like when the couple is having fun because it feels like a party that they would throw.
That would yes, yeah, and it was just the best party celebrating them and the experience over expectation. And
Yeah.
I think in today's world, that's so important to remember that experience over expectations because brides and grooms can go down that rabbit hole on TikTok or
Yeah, I know.
Instagram and they can see stylized shoots, which let me remind you, those are not real weddings.
No, they're
They
not.
can show people, it's like people just showing the best part of their lives or they're this or that. And they think there's this expectation that things have to run a certain way, look a certain way. No, 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 no. No, it's the experience. It's that feeling over the expectations of
Yeah.
what you see. And social media can be hard on you that way. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So,
absolutely. Nobody's going to leave your wedding thinking like that was just the worst wedding ever because they didn't have cute place cards.
right,
It's,
right,
it's
right.
just, just I think sifting through all the media, and you have to keep in mind that the media exists only by bringing you new stuff that they think that you might want. So
Exactly.
it's
Well
just
said. Well said. They're not stuff. It's not even true, half the stuff.
no,
They
it's
say,
real. It's like who would ever lay in bed thinking, that is such a great idea. I'm going to get my hair cut between the ceremony and the cocktail hour. I don't know why I always go back to that. Probably because it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
I know.
It's like, I got a great idea. Let's have a scavenger hunt between the ceremony and the cocktail hour. That is terrific. It's like, oh,
And,
no, no.
and even some of the old fashioned things that don't
Yeah.
resonate with you anymore. So they say, the best weddings now and in 2026 aren't about doing what you're supposed to
No,
do.
not at all.
They're about creating moments that feel true, meaningful, and joyful to you as a couple.
Yeah.
And if that's true, then all of your guests are going to feel that way
Gonna have a
as
great
well. The,
time.
the couple sets the tone, as they say.
Yeah.
So if you're planning a wedding and feeling overwhelmed by trends, here's our advice: take what resonates and leave the rest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yep. Well, and pick when you're looking at vendors and you're interviewing vendors or venues, and find people who are on your same wavelength, and then trust them, people that you feel like you can communicate with, that
Right.
understand you, and then listen to them.
Right.
Find if you're comfortable with somebody and vice versa, they will probably not try to steer you wrong. And if you feel that way, you should not hire them to begin with. But, everybody should be headed towards a common goal.
Right. They
And,
say,
yeah,
for wedding professionals, these trends remind us that couples want to feel seen and not managed. That doesn't mean that they don't need you to help them figure everything
yeah,
out, but it's not our personalization on it, it's their
yeah.
personalization. I'm listening to you. What do you want? I'm going to help you figure this out
Yeah, and
and really
steer you in the right
represent you.
direction.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
going to steer you away from the scavenger hunt on the beach after cocktail hour. Okay, we're going to try listen to us because we like you and we want your wedding to be fabulous.
So I want to thank everybody. Oh, well, first, before I say this, I want to say if you have a trend that we haven't spoken about, let us
Or
know.
an
We
idea,
want to
just an
hear.
idea, a great
Yeah.
idea that you're having.
And if you're a past bride, 2025 or before, and you tried something that worked really well, let us know. Or if you regret, let us know. We want to hear. We want to hear. We want to give advice, and we want to hear what's happening out there and what
Yeah.
felt good to you as a couple. And thanks so much for listening to New Jersey Wedding Podcast. If you
Congratulations.
yeah, and congratulations. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with someone who's planning a wedding.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Until next time, we'll see ya.
Bye bye. This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey wedding officiant Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services.
And Celia Milton, owner of NJ Vows Now. Also, New Jersey Wedding Officiating Services. We're up in North Jersey, and Andrea is down in Central and South Jersey. So together we cover the whole state, don't we?
Yes, yes.